what got me interested in the sciences the most, and really I think it was through weather. When I was a kid, I had a paper route. And so not only was it very important to me what the weather was every day, I was up early enough that I always had time before school started and watching the local weather. And if people are familiar with the Boston area, watching Don Kent every morning on Channel 4 sort of got into the whole aspect of forecasting the weather and look at the maps and things along those lines. And I think starting there is when I really began sort of observing the world around me and trying to figure out how it worked. I got a bachelor's in geology at Brown, and I have a master's in meteorology from Penn State. My path to the classroom is not a traditional one. After graduating from grad school, I actually spent 8 years as an environmental consultant first, and realized that I wasn't getting the job satisfaction out of the consulting world, and really enjoyed coaching my children, really enjoyed teaching people things, really enjoyed, even at work, being someone who was training in that aha moment when somebody figured something out. And was fortunate enough that a principal at Reading Memorial High School in Massachusetts took a chance on me with my provisional science teaching certificate and zero experience to see how I would do. The thing that I enjoy most in education really is working with the kids. As a science teacher, nobody gets into high school science because they want to advance the science. You know, it's really not, it's not the level of work. I mean, we do research and we do things like that, and there's a lot of fascinating things we do. But it's really about working with the students. And I think that my interest in science, I can be genuine about that, and then I can project that to the students. And hopefully, if I can get the students to enjoy it as well, to me, that's what I've done my job the best. Here at Oak Knoll, what I'm really hoping to do is foster an interest in science. And I do think that's something that's particularly important at an all-girls school, to really make sure you foster that interest in science. I saw it at my previous job where in the classroom it was a coeducational school. The girls would be quieter and things like that during class, but then whenever they would come in for extra help and it was just a group of girls in there, the excitement could be shown, and you saw their true personalities, and they were allowed to they allowed themselves to be more engaged, and hoping that I can draw as many of the students as possible into an interest in science, and if maybe not to pursue science, at least have it something they follow and they use when they're making decisions for the rest of their lives. The one aspect outside of the classroom professionally is I'm a member of the American Meteorological Society. That's the international, basically, weather society. I've been involved with them a lot for the last 10, 12 years. And the thing I like to do most is, and over that period of time, I've been bringing students to the annual meeting, which is this international science conference where back in the day when I first started, my high school students were the only high school students that came, and slowly but surely a couple others, and to be able to bring the students and to see that, and even if they're not going to become meteorologists, even if they're not going to study the earth sciences, to give them the opportunity to see this is how science is done, the collaboration, the working with colleagues, the sharing of ideas, that's something that they can take, hopefully, to pursue any science they want to, is sort of my goal would be with that. In the classroom, I think that something that's very important to me is I'm very much of a hands-on teacher. I really, believe in depth over breadth. I really like to have the opportunity to have the students explore things, whereas I may not always cover the same amount of content as other teachers do. I think it's an important thing to help the students develop different skills, observational skills, analytical skills, be able to design their own labs, be able to apply work they've done. In the past, I've done dollhouse projects where we've wired dollhouses after learning about electric circuits. We've built instruments after learning about sound. I think it's really important for students to be able to do this hands-on work and to do this applications and to really help them get a deeper understanding of what we're teaching them. When we come back in the fall, hopefully in person, but understandably that it might be hybrid, and in the spring we did online learning where I was before, and I really think it's important to engage the students and make sure that the students are at home, that they still feel like they're at school. And science, I think, has a big advantage in that, especially the physical sciences, there's a lot of stuff we can do where the students make observations around their own home. I had students, we were doing projectile motion, so it's maybe to the parents' chagrin, I had students throwing objects all over the house and taking videos of it and examining the data that they were able to gather. I think as long as we can keep them engaged, and as long as we can really keep to the purest aspects of science where they're making observations and trying to draw conclusions from those observations, we really can turn their home into a little bit of a laboratory. Again, hopefully not breaking anything along the ways, but doing the best we can with that. Ideally, I think for me, the personal challenge would be, it would be hard to start that way because as a new teacher, I don't have the rapport with the students. So I think that would be one of my biggest challenges, is sort of to get to know them, the distance. So me, as much as anybody, really hopes we have at least a little bit of time in person in the fall to get to know each other. It was great this past Father's Day. I went for a hike with my son, which was particularly satisfying for me because I'm 13 months out from having total knee replacement. So to be able to go out and be active like that was a big plus. Enjoy doing yard work. My son's going off to college this fall, so I'm going to have to find some more hobbies along the way. And hopefully there'll be a season, and I'll be able to follow my favorite sports teams as they come on in the fall. Don't hate me, please.